They are the richest family in France. But who is really behind the Arnolds? Here's what you need to know. This is Bernard Arnault. He is 75 years old, the richest man in France and the head of a real dynasty managed by the Arnault family. His children, Delphine, Antoine, Alexandre, Frédéric and Jean Arnault, are competing to take over the reins of France's most flourishing company, LVMH. LVMH is a giant empire. With a market capitalization of more than $464 billion in March 2024, the French company is one of the top 20 largest companies in the world, ahead of Coca-Cola, L'Oréal, and Samsung. In 2023 alone, the group achieved a turnover of $86 billion, and the empire is constantly evolving as every year more than 100 LVMH-owned stores are opened all over the world. The company, known for its luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Givenchy, actually owns more than 70 iconic brands in several fields. In total, LVMH is divided into 5 sectors: leather goods, which represent 39% of its business, wines and spirits, with world-famous brands such as Moet and Chandon and Chateau Cheval Blanc, perfumes, then watches and jewelry with 9%, and finally, LVMH has invested in major French department stores, but also the Les Echos French press group and even in Paris's gardens. But to understand the success of LVMH, you first need to understand who the entrepreneur Bernard Arnault is. Fresh out of military school, he began working as an engineer in the family business, Ferret Savinel, an SME in the public works sector. At the age of 26, he took over the reins of the company and convinced his father to switch from construction to real estate. The company changed its name to Ferinel and became one of the leading providers of tourist apartments in France. In 1981, post-François Mitterrand's election, Bernard Arnault fled to the US to dodge higher taxes. There, he met a certain Donald Trump, then a real estate mogul, and founded Ferinel Inc. in New York. He also discovered just how popular the big French brands are across the Atlantic, and it was by asking a taxi driver a question that the penny dropped.
Est-ce que vous connaissez le président Pompidou? Il dit non, je connais pas le président français, mais je connais Christian Dior.
And very soon he rises. Bernard Arnault became a shark in the business world. In 1984, he returned to France and convinced the state to sell him the Boussac textile company in exchange for a promise to save 12,000 jobs. Yet the businessman broke his word, sacked 9,000 staff and sold the firm's assets. He then built up a healthy cash flow and kept the company's most prestigious brands, including Dior and Le Bon Marché. But it was in 1987 that he popped off. Bernard Arnault became the majority shareholder of the LVMH group, ousting the Louis Vuitton heirs who, at the time, were unable to agree on the future of the company. He continued with takeovers, strategic purchases, swiftly creating the world's biggest luxury empire. Alongside LVMH, he created an investment fund specializing in technology. He supported and invested in the creation of innovative startups such as Spotify, Netflix, and Airbnb. But Mr. Arnault is a man of many talents and also a significant art collector. He built the Louis Vuitton Foundation, launched in 2014, displaying his private collection. A much criticized investment since it is the state and therefore the taxpayers, which truly means us, who financed 80% of the future museum thanks to a series of tax benefits. Total cost of the operation, 800,000 euros. But what also angers some French people and politicians is that Bernard Arnault pays less than 14% tax in France. A French weekly newspaper revealed that in 2019, France's richest entrepreneur declared an income of around 280 million euros and paid only 45 million euros in taxes, when he should have paid almost 3 times that amount, or 130 million euros. Not content with these revelations, Bernard Arnault has forbidden his 6 children and heirs from speaking to the newspaper and 6 other independent media outlets that closely monitor the activities of the Arnault family. At the age of 75, the wealthiest man in France starts planning his succession to ensure control over his empire even after his death. The family holding company has been structured so that his 5 children will hold equal shares of his fortune for at least 30 years. In the meantime, his children all work in the group and are being trained to take over. Delphine Arnault, 47, is Louis Vuitton's deputy director. Antoine Arnault, age 45, manages LVMH's public relations. Alexandre, 30, is executive vice president of Tiffany. Frédéric, 27, is CEO of Tag Heuer, and Jean, the youngest at 24, is marketing director for watch development at Louis Vuitton. One thing is certain, even after his death, Bernard Arnault will continue to be the undisputed boss of LVMH.